Your hands are bound. The rope cuts deep into your wrists. Blood drips slowly onto the limestone floor. You hear them coming down the corridor, the guards, and you know what happens next. But here's what they don't tell you in history books. The worst part? It wasn't the pain. It wasn't the torture. It wasn't even death. It was what they did to your soul. You see, in ancient Egypt, punishment didn't end when your heart stopped beating. That's when the real suffering began. The Egyptians believed in eternal life. But what if I told you some prisoners were sentenced to eternal death, a state worse than any hell you can imagine? Today, you're going to walk through the gates of the most feared prison complex in ancient history, the House of Restraint, Per-Kheru, the place where souls are broken. You'll see what archaeologists found buried beneath the sand for 3,000 years. Evidence so disturbing, some museums refuse to display it. You'll learn the truth about the living mummies, prisoners who were buried alive but kept conscious for weeks. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why the pharaoh's mercy was far more terrifying than his wrath. But before we descend into the darkness, I need you to do something. Hit that subscribe button right now, because what you're about to see, YouTube's algorithm doesn't want to show people. It's too real, too raw, too historically accurate. This is documented history, but it's history that makes people uncomfortable. So subscribe, hit that notification bell, and drop a comment telling me, are you ready for the truth? Good. Now lock your door, turn off the lights, and follow me into the darkness. Thebes, Egypt, 1456 BCE. Reign of Pharaoh Thutmose III. The Egyptian empire is at its zenith. Gold flows from Nubia. Tribute arrives from conquered kingdoms. The pharaoh is a living god. But beneath the grandeur, beneath the temples and the gold, there's a place that doesn't appear on any tourist papyrus. The Per-Kheru, the House of Restraint. In 1923, archaeologist Herbert Winlock discovered something beneath a collapsed temple foundation, a network of chambers, 37 rooms, all underground. At first, they thought it was a tomb. But tombs don't have shackle rings embedded in the walls. Tombs don't have drainage channels carved into the floor for blood. Winlock's journal, archived at the Metropolitan Museum, contains this entry, dated March 15, 1923. We found skeletal remains in positions that suggest prolonged restraint. The wrist bones show evidence of repeated trauma, but most disturbing are the jaw structures. Many show signs of having been deliberately broken and then allowed to heal multiple times. Why would they break a prisoner's jaw, then let it heal, then break it again? We'll get to that, but first you need to understand who ended up in the Per-Kheru. Contrary to popular belief, common criminals weren't sent here. Thieves, adulterers, even murderers faced different punishments: fines, beatings, mutilation, quick executions. The House of Restraint was reserved for 3 categories of offender. 1. Traitors to the pharaoh, those who conspired against the divine order itself. 2. Desecrators, those who violated temples, damaged royal tombs, or stole from the dead. 3. The cursed, individuals accused of practicing Heka, forbidden magic, against the royal family. But here's what makes Egyptian imprisonment uniquely horrific. They weren't trying to punish you, they were trying to unmake you. Let me explain. Imagine you're a scribe. You've been accused of altering a royal decree. The trial lasted 30 minutes. You're guilty. 2 guards grab you. They don't speak. In ancient Egypt, guards at the House of Restraint took vows of silence. They wanted to ensure that the condemned heard only one voice during their imprisonment, their own. You descend. 63 steps. We know this because archaeologists counted the worn stone grooves in the staircase. 3,000 years of prisoners wearing down the limestone. The air changes. It's cooler, damp. You smell something, organic. Decay, yes, but something else. Something sweet and rotten at the same time. Embalming spices. You're underneath a mortuary temple. The guards throw you into a cell, 6 feet by 6 feet. The ceiling is too low to stand, but the floor is too uneven to lie comfortably. This is intentional. Then they bring the first instrument. It looks like a bronze collar, tight. Not tight enough to strangle, but tight enough that you can't forget it's there. Every swallow reminds you, every breath. Ancient Egyptian medical papyri describe this as the reminder of Ma'at. Ma'at, the goddess of truth and order. The collar was engraved with her name, a constant physical reminder that you violated cosmic balance. Psychological warfare, ancient style. But they're just getting started. On the wall of your cell, there's writing, hieroglyphs. You can read them, you're a scribe. They say, your name will be erased. Your Ka will wander. Your Ba will find no home. You will not exist in the field of reeds. You will not exist in the duat. You will not exist in memory. You will not exist. Now you understand. This isn't about punishing your body. This is about erasing your soul from reality itself. The ancient Egyptians believed that existence required 3 things: your physical body, your name, and your memory in the minds of the living. The House of Restraint was designed to destroy all 3. And they had a methodology, a process, a timeline. Let me walk you through it. Week 1, isolation. You receive food once every 3 days, water twice. Not enough to starve, just enough to weaken. The silence is absolute. You begin talking to yourself. Week 2, the questions begin. Every evening, a priest arrives. He asks you one question. Do you wish to be forgotten? If you say yes, he leaves. If you say no, he stays and explains exactly how you'll be erased. Week 3, the rewriting. Your family is contacted. They're given a choice: denounce you publicly, erase you from family records, and chisel your name from any monument or tomb, or join you in the Per-Kheru. Most families chose erasure. Survival outweighed love. Week 4. You learn what happened. The priest returns. He tells you, your name is gone. Your children claim they never had a father. Your wife has remarried. Your tomb has been reassigned. You are, legally and spiritually, already dead. But your body? Still breathing. This is when the real horror begins. Stop. We need to talk about what they found in Chamber 17. In 2003, an Egyptian-French archaeological team was doing ground-penetrating radar surveys beneath Deir el-Medina, the workers' village near the Valley of the Kings. They found an anomaly, a large underground space that wasn't on any map. After 8 months of excavation, they broke through. What they found made international news for 3 days. Then the story disappeared. I'm going to show you why. The chamber contained 43 bodies, but they weren't mummies. They weren't properly buried. They were arranged. All 43 were positioned in identical poses, sitting upright, hands on knees, heads tilted at exactly 15 degrees, mouths open. Carbon dating confirmed, 1450 to 1425 BCE, Dynasty 18th, reign of Thutmose III. But here's where it gets disturbing. The bodies showed no signs of violent death, no trauma, no disease. Medical analysis revealed they all died within hours of each other from dehydration. They were positioned and then left to die, exactly as they sat. The Egyptian Supreme Council of Antiquities sealed the chamber. They called it disrespectful to display. But internal documents, leaked in 2011, tell a different story. They called it the waiting room, because on the wall, in hieroglyphics, there was an inscription. Here sit those who wait to be forgotten. When the last memory fades, the door will open. The door they mentioned, sealed from the outside, never opened. 43 people sat down, waited, died waiting. For what? For the world to forget they ever existed. If that made you uncomfortable, good. History should make you uncomfortable. Real history, not the sanitized version. This is why I need you to smash that like button right now. YouTube's algorithm sees videos about ancient torture and thinks, not advertiser-friendly. But this is real. This happened. This is documented archaeology. If you want more content like this, content that doesn't pull punches, content that treats you like an adult who can handle historical truth, like this video. Share it. Comment more right now. Because we're not done. Not even close. You wanted to know about the broken jaws? The ones that healed and broke again? Let me show you something they discovered in Chamber 23. Dr. Salima Ikram, Egyptologist at the American University in Cairo, specializes in ancient Egyptian punishment practices. In 2008, she published a paper titled Technologies of Soul Death in New Kingdom Prisons. It was rejected by 3 journals before being published in a specialized forensic archaeology publication. Too disturbing, they said. I have a copy. Let me read you Section 4, Paragraph 2. Analysis of cranial trauma patterns in Per-Kheru specimens reveals a sophisticated understanding of non-lethal injury. The mandibular fractures were inflicted at specific intervals, 21 days apart, allowing for incomplete healing between sessions. This created chronic pain that would persist for years, while preventing permanent disfigurement that might evoke public sympathy. They broke prisoners' jaws every 3 weeks. Precisely, medically, with surgical knowledge. Why? Because in ancient Egypt, speaking one's name was the most powerful magic. Your name, spoken aloud, sustained your ka, your life force, in the afterlife. A broken jaw makes speech painful, difficult, slurred. Eventually, prisoners stopped saying their own names, even to themselves. Self-erasure. They made you complicit in your own spiritual execution. But the jaw-breaking was just one technique. The Egyptians had others. The starvation calendar. Prisoners received food in random intervals, sometimes twice a day, sometimes once every 5 days. The unpredictability was the point. You couldn't anticipate, couldn't plan, couldn't maintain any sense of time. Without time, you can't maintain memory. Without memory, you begin to forget who you were. The mirror punishment, reserved for those who had been vain or proud. A polished bronze mirror was hung in their cell, but it wasn't positioned for them to see themselves. It was angled so they could almost see their reflection, but never quite. Psychological torture. The desperate human need to see yourself, to confirm you exist, perpetually denied. After months, prisoners would stop trying to see their reflection. They'd stopped believing they had one. And then the final technique, the one that appears in guards' training scrolls found at Deir el-Medina in 1935. They called it the last kindness. When a prisoner had been sufficiently broken, when their name was erased, their family had denounced them, their memory was fading from the living world, the guards would come with an offer. They would offer the prisoner a choice: die now, quickly, with poison, or accept the last kindness. Most chose the poison, but some accepted. The last kindness was this: the prisoner would be moved to a better cell, given better food. Their restraints would be removed. They'd be treated almost humanely. There was only one condition. They had to help prepare other prisoners for soul death. They became assistants to their own torture, teaching new prisoners the words to say to their families, explaining how soul erasure works, demonstrating compliance. The Egyptians understood something that modern psychology wouldn't articulate for another 3,000 years. The fastest way to destroy someone's identity is to make them destroy someone else's. Records show that prisoners who accepted the last kindness lived an average of 7 more years, in relative comfort, in absolute spiritual destruction. They became ghosts, neither prisoner nor guard, neither alive nor dead, neither remembered nor forgotten. The Egyptians called them the Per-Kheru Nem, the ones who are not. And some of them are still down there, in the sealed chambers beneath the sand. Now I'm going to tell you something that Egyptologists debate in private but rarely discuss publicly. The House of Restraint wasn't an aberration. It wasn't unusual. It wasn't even particularly cruel by ancient standards. We've found 17 similar sites throughout Egypt. 17. Every major city had one, which means soul death was standard criminal justice. Estimates suggest that between 1500 to 1200 BCE, roughly 2,000 people per year were sentenced to spiritual erasure. Over 3 centuries, that's 600,000 people. 600,000 human beings systematically deleted from existence. And here's the thing that keeps me up at night. It worked. We don't know their names. We can't identify the remains. Their families succeeded in erasing them. 3,000 years later, they are still forgotten. Except, in 1996, a restoration team was cleaning Chamber 31 of the Medinet Habu prison complex. Behind a false wall, they found something the guards missed. Carved into the limestone in tiny hieroglyphs, barely visible. My name was Amen Mat. I was a scribe. I had a daughter named Merit. I existed. I exist. I will exist. Below that, 47 more names, carved in darkness, hidden from the guards, a desperate act of defiance. These people knew they'd be erased. They knew no one would remember, but they carved their names anyway. Why? Because the human spirit refuses to be forgotten. Amen Mat, Merit's father, a scribe who made a mistake we'll never know, sentenced to soul death, stripped of everything. But in his final act, in complete darkness, with broken fingers, he carved his truth into stone. And 3,500 years later, we speak his name. Amen Mat. He won. The House of Restraint, the place where souls are broken, Per-Kheru. Most of these sites remain sealed. The Egyptian government has no plans to open them to the public. Too disturbing, they say. Too dark for tourism. Maybe they're right. We visit the pyramids, we marvel at the gold, we take photos at the temples. But beneath our feet, in the darkness, are 600,000 stories we'll never hear. People who were sentenced not to death, but to something worse, to unexistence. But here's what the pharaohs didn't understand, what they couldn't have predicted. Memory is stronger than stone. Truth is stronger than time. Every time we speak these names, Amenemhat and the 47 others behind that wall, we resurrect them. We give them the afterlife their torturers tried to deny. The ancient Egyptian word for to remember was ski. It literally means to cause to rise. So let me cause them to rise. Let me speak the names carved in Chamber 31, the ones who refused to be forgotten. Amenemhat, Nebet, Paneb, Ka, Amenhotep, Henutmeyer. You've just witnessed something the pharaohs tried to prevent. You've remembered the forgotten. You've given existence to those sentenced to non-existence. That's the power you hold. Memory, truth, story. If this video disturbed you, good. If it made you think, better. If it made you grateful that we live in an era where erasure is harder, where memory is digital and permanent, where we can speak truth to power and have it heard, then you understand why this history matters. Do 3 things for me right now. 1. Subscribe to this channel, because I'm going to keep digging up the history they don't teach you, the uncomfortable truths, the forgotten horrors, the human stories beneath the monuments. 2. Share this video. The algorithm doesn't want to promote it. Prove the algorithm wrong. 3. Comment with 1 word, remember. Because that's what we do here. We remember. We refuse to let the past stay buried. The House of Restraint is still down there, in the darkness, waiting. The chambers are sealed, but the stories aren't. And neither are you. You exist. You matter. You will be remembered. Until next time, stay curious, stay uncomfortable, stay awake. Oh, one more thing. Remember the 43 bodies in the waiting room, the ones sitting with their mouths open? In 2019, a linguistic analysis of the chamber's acoustics revealed something unexpected. When wind blows through the entrance at certain angles, the chamber produces a sound, a very specific sound. It sounds like 43 people whispering the same word, over and over. Next video, I'll tell you what that word is, and why it appears in 17 different ancient languages, all meaning the same thing. Subscribe. You don't want to miss this.